Hey, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
We are Working Class Nerds.
Cue the intro. That's right. We are Working Class Nerds, the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is July 8th, 2021, and you can find this 112 podcast on Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and anywhere else you can find it in the galaxy. You can also watch me play video games with the community at twitch.tv/MarcusB814.
You can also find me playing video games starting Monday, July 19th. That's right. There's a date now at twitch.tv/NickVern51.
And I totally typed that wrong in the chat. And you can find the both of us on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814.
And I am at NickVern. That's NickVern. And in this week's episode, we're talking about SWTOR's 10th anniversary expansion titled Legacy of the Sith.
Or lots of SWTOR.
Yes, LOTS, Legacy of the Sith, lots of SWTOR, of the SWTOR. Anyways, we're talking about game version 7.0. We're talking about new story. We're talking about a new operation. We're talking about changes to the weapons in each class and more. So joining us today on this awesome episode is nobody. It's the old Marcus and Nick show. So there's no escaping our ridiculousness today. Good luck. Marcus, what have you been up to?
Well, it's funny you should ask that. I'm surprised you actually asked me what I've been up to, but because I've been up to a lot. All right.
Well, yeah.
Did you just snore a little? Was that like a shh? Here we go.
Yeah, that was like now. that was an audio eye roll.
I like that. That's well put. You know, all right, so I'm just going to shout out Nick. So like we've talked about it over the years that Nick used to work for me. And I was talking to him at work, and I was cutting something with a tool.
A small handsaw.
Yes. And
also
Nick,
known as a coping saw.
Correct. But the reason why I was so proud of Nick is because he said, "What are you coping?" by the sound of that. That's somebody that remembered. It was like a proud dad moment, but it was like a proud boss moment. Because Nick does not do any carpentry whatsoever anymore.
I do keyboard carpentry.
Well, yeah, that's a different story. That's WASD, bro.
Right.
Sorry, I was taking something to drink. So anyway, so there's that. And then I went to Nick's apartment this week, and I put deadbolts on his room. So now his roommate can't sneak into his room when Nick's sleeping and cover him with shaving cream.
Right.
So when Nick wakes up, he's covered in shaving cream. It's kind of funny.
And then I can't, litter Smirnoff Ices all over his room. So, and every time he opens a drawer, he just gets drunk a little bit.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. And just so you know, so Nick asked me if I wanted a Powerade, and he's like, "Oh, get it from the fridge." I'm like, "I'm not going in your fucking fridge." I could smell his ice coming.
Right.
But he didn't get me.
No, I was being nice, actually.
Are you playing with you're playing with the holocron?
The Sith holocron? Yes, that was Sith holocron noises.
Or the Sith Wayfinder?
No, okay, so you know what? I didn't actually sit down and watch the whole thing, but I had it on in the background while I was doing stuff. I hated the Sith Wayfinder at first because I'm like, hey, it's a fucking holocron. Get it right. And I actually think it's a different object. So like, it's a different shaped triangle. So like a Sith holocron is an equilateral triangle. Like all the side, like imagine an Egyptian pyramid. Yes. That's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And the holocron is like an isosceles triangle where it's like way longer on the top than like the bottom, and it's green. So like I think it's actually a different thing. It's just I think it's a poor design choice that it's also like a triangular pyramid shape, but it's like clearly a different shape and a different thing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I think everyone, because it's a triangle, because it's a Sith something, everyone thought, oh my God, this is the movie's way of saying it's a Sith holocron. But I don't think it is, because we have other canon stuff, Rebels, for example, where you get a Sith holocron and it's red and it's an equilateral triangle, just like what you'd think of. You know what I mean? And that's also canon from Disney. So I think the Wayfinder is just like a completely different object.
Okay.
But it's just like confusing. Anyways, that's all. Rant over.
Meanwhile,
Back at the ranch.
So my point is I got to go to Nick's apartment. It was awesome. His apartment's pretty sweet, and now he can lock his fucking door. So when his roommate comes home wasted with all of his friends, they don't just walk into his room to steal Nick's controller because his batteries aren't dead.
Honestly, I was more. It's not really like the hijinks per se. We're actually pretty good about that. It's like the friend of a friend that comes over. It's like, hey, we're gonna have some beers before we go out. Oh, no problem. Hey, can my buddy come too? That we don't both really know. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or like random girls that come over or something. You know what I mean? They sleep over and they get up in the middle of the night or something. Who knows? Like if Paulo has a girl over and I'm not home, like who knows if they come in and like steal shit or whatever. You know?
Correct. Yeah.
People, you don't trust nobody, but now we got peace of mind, which is sweet.
So, so with that, I've been just working in gaming, and in the game world, I've been playing the shit out of Destiny 2. So I'm completely addicted to the game. Remember how I was back in Call of Duty days? That's how I am with Destiny now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a strong statement.
Yeah. So like, dude, I'll play SWTOR, and as soon as I'm done raiding, I'm jumping right into Destiny. And now they have this new season, or it's the new, it's like their summer event. It's called the Solstice of Heroes. And they got this wicked cool shotgun you can get. But then there's this like uber special, like awesome armor you can earn, but you have to grind the shit out of the game to get it. And like, this is the first time like I've been involved in an event that's brand new. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm connected to the game now. So I'm all in on it. And like last night when I finished stream, we finished stream, and I probably fucked around for like 15, 20 minutes, and I got right into the game. And then on Tuesday after stream, I went to log in, and it was like, you are number 5,628 in line to get into the server, because the servers are full because everybody was trying to play this new event on day one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy though. That like it has that much of a following like this long into the game's life cycle.
Oh, dude, the game's huge.
That the server's just backed up.
I don't even I had no idea that this game is as big as it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, obviously I didn't either.
Yeah, like I just play it. But with SWTOR, I have been raiding just to the 2 nights a week, rip the Monday team, and we're still working on a Nightmare Explosive Conflict. This week, yesterday, Wednesday, was the best progression day we had. We were getting to burn phase like every other pull or every third pull. So like next week, we're killing the boss. You know what I mean? Like we're right there. And that's a huge milestone when you're doing it. But I actually went through, I had a tough time this past week. Between the end of last week and this week. So streaming has taken me to I'm a very active streamer, right?
Yeah.
I like my chat. I love the community. Like when somebody comes in to say hello, I'm like a puppy and my tail's wagging. You know what I mean?
Oh, and that's evident when someone pops in. You can see.
Right, exactly. So when I Nightmare Raid, I feel like I'm doing my chat and our community a disservice because I'm not paying attention to them. You know what I'm saying? Right. And because if I'm in a pull, I'm not paying attention, and I got a raid and from somebody, and my whole mindset was I wanted to look at the chat so bad, and I ended up wiping the group. And I and then my Saturday night stream this week was awesome. And I was just doing story stuff, and I was like, wow, this is so awesome. Maybe I shouldn't stream and raid anymore. And I actually talked to you about this. I went, my headcanon was all messed up because I didn't know what the right choice was, because I love to raid and I like people hanging out with me while I raid.
Yeah.
But I really went through this weird mind fuck for a week, thinking
can you keep rating and streaming, and is your rating taking away from stream or not?
Correct. And so this week, and I even told the raid team, like, guys, I'm really sorry. I feel like I'm letting you guys down because I'm
streaming.
Yeah, streaming and all that stuff. And sorry, Carrie is on the couch and she's looking at me, but she's jacking up the TV because I'm talking so loud because we're in Rhode Island. And and I can hear it, and I'm like, oh, great. Everybody's going to be listening to whatever she's watching. Yeah.
The Bachelor.
I don't know if she's watching The Bachelor. It could be.
The Bachelor in Paradise.
Sorry, Nick. You're right. Bachelor in Paradise. Whatever the hell that is. Anyway, so back to this. Meanwhile.
Wait. We got to finish the rant. Bachelor in Paradise is like they take all the man whores and slores that were on the regular Bachelor shows, then they stick them all on an island and say go fuck each other, basically.
Really? That's what it is?
Basically. I'm definitely butchering it, and anybody who actually watches it is like, oh my god, that's not at all what it's like, but that's what I have in my head. So meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Yeah, so if you're not the bachelor or bachelorette that finds love, then you're just a slore. Right. Or a man whore.
Yeah, or a manslore, whatever you want to call it.
Or a manslore. I like that. We should get that quoted. Manslore. Bachelor in Paradise. We're full of manslores.
That's perfect.
I like that. Anyway, meanwhile,
back at the ranch.
We don't do it as good as Kitty.
No, he's the best.
So I even apologized to my raid team, and I was like, guys, I don't know what I want to do. Well, let me tell you something. The community showed up this week, and I want to thank everybody so much because the support and love that the Marcus B814 channel and the Nerds community got this week on stream has been incredible. And I can't thank you guys enough because you guys totally I'm going to continue Nightmare raiding because I love it. And if somebody doesn't want to hang out my channel because I didn't pay attention to them during a pull, I'm sorry. Right.
Yeah.
It's, it is what it is. But the big announcement is this Saturday, which is, I don't even know what Saturday is. What's
Saturday is the 10th.
So July 10th. So you might be listening to it on July 10th. We're bringing back community night. So on Saturday is community night on stream. We're going to be playing with all the Nerds community. If you're not in our Discord, get in the Discord. What are you waiting for? Yeah, come on down. What are you waiting for? And get come play with me. I'm trying to rope Nick into coming in and playing with us, but
I'm gonna be in Maine.
Oh, that's right. You're going on vacation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
vacation now I ever wanted. Anyways.
Yeah. So you are definitely not coming to community night. You're going to be margarita faced.
No, I can't drink anything.
They're going to Maine. Stormin rented a house. Yes. Harry and Justin are going. Mama Mo, and then Nick is solo. And he can't drink because he's got the itis.
Right.
The man-itis.
The liveritis.
Whatever it is. Anyway, So I'm sorry. I'm rambling on and on and on. There's been many sidebars already.
That's perfect. This is what happens when you don't have a guest that keeps us on track. We just go on all the tangents.
It's because we're great. Right, because we're talking. And usually we're listening to somebody else talk, and then we just interject.
And usually, I get that little voice in my head where I'm like, okay, let the guests do their thing, so it's not just the Nick and Marcus show. You know what I mean? What's the point of bringing the guests on if you don't let them talk? But there's no guests, so now it doesn't matter. We can go on all the sidebars.
And what's really weird is you're not sitting next to me, so the audio cues are via just voice cues.
Right. I mean, we could have done video too. But I don't trust the internet.
Yeah. Rhode Island internet might not be as good as Massachusetts internet.
That's a good point.
Just saying. I have no idea. But anyway, I know I'm forgetting something. So, also too, we got I have to talk about the SWTOR live stream a little bit. I did catch the
live stream before the live stream?
Live stream before the live stream breakdown. We totally we found out about the announcement and I tuned in. I actually expected the live stream to be like an hour. It was like a fast 30 minutes. They like came in, they dropped the info, and they were like, all right, peace out, peeps. Talk to you soon. And we'll talk more in depth about that after. But
Yes.
my final thing is Destiny 2. I think we're one player, or we got the player, and next Monday we start raiding in Destiny 2. I forgot to say this. Yes.
That's epic.
Yes, I'm pretty excited. Also, last thing is, what do you think about the new Switch announcement?
So this is, remember, I don't know if you all recall our origins of the podcast, where when Marcus and I would work together, we would talk about stuff like this and then be like, we should record this and make it a show. So we had this conversation IRL already while Marcus was installing the locks in my apartment. So I think my summary is the new Switch, if you haven't heard, it's going to be the Switch OLED. So it's an OLED screen rather than an LED screen, which makes the colors a lot crisper, the contrast a lot better. And it's a 7-inch screen, so it's a little bit bigger. And it has more storage. It's 64 gigabytes. I don't know what it is now, but it's 64 gigabytes. So a little bit more storage. The screen is a little bit bigger and a little bit better. But what it's missing is upgraded like processors or graphical abilities, or if that does have an upgrade, then they haven't announced it. And I feel like if it did have that, they would be definitely saying it. Like if they said, yeah, I can do 1080 now at 60 frames, it's going to be awesome, then they would be shouting that from the rooftops. Because they're not, I feel like it's not any stronger or anything like that, and it's just going to be the same 720 at whatever it runs at. And for that reason, I'm not all that excited about it. What about you, Marcus?
So I was excited about it until you and I did have our origin conversation. So like legit, everybody, Nick was sitting in his kitchen and I was putting in this deadbolt and we just started talking about this. And I'm like, man, if we had a microphone right now, just the Switch conversation would be an episode.
Right.
And Nick actually persuaded me to think that I'm going to pass on it too.
Yeah.
Here, and because once you start deep diving into it, I was initially ecstatic. I was like, because I play my Switch, I kickstand it, and I play with a controller. So,
I should say there's also an upgraded kickstand, so the kickstand's better.
Right. So yeah. So the kickstand, so the Switch will stand by itself, and that's how I play the Switch. I don't plug it into the TV ever. I usually kickstand it, and I use the Switch Pro controller, and that's how I use my Switch. Yeah. It's always been that way. It always will be that way because I'm kind of a graphical snob.
Yeah.
And putting the Switch on the TV, I feel like I'm playing Super Nintendo when I do that.
Yeah, and you can tell. It's not the same.
Right, exactly. Like when it's on the Switch screen, it's not bad because it's small and crisp.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, that looks okay. But as soon as it blows up, I feel like, yeah, it's Super Nintendo on the screen. But anyway, so I was thrilled. But then Nick and I started talking, and there's been a lot of computer chip shortages everywhere across the world. And I was saying I said to Nick, and I was like, well, this was probably supposed to be the Switch 2, but because they don't have the computer chips, or Breath of the Wild 2 wasn't ready, but these are all ready to ship, they're going to throw in the old parts that they already have, upgrade the memory, fine, and sell it for $350 and sell billions of copies of this. And then next year when Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, bam, Switch Pro, same size LED screen. It's just going to be the Switch 2 with the upgraded processor.
That'll be the 1080 and 60 frames or whatever, and boom, it'll come right out with Breath of the Wild 2.
Right, and then the original Switches will probably, how much are the regular Switches? 300?
I don't know. I thought they were definitely 350 at launch, and these new ones are going to be 350, but I don't know how much they are now.
I think they're 300. So they'll probably discount them to 250 or 200 for a Switch for the original. And then, the new ones will be 350 and call it a day,
Yeah, $300 on GameStop. So the fact that it's only $50 more for the new one means there's definitely no big power improvements in my head anyway.
Well, would you pay $400 for a Switch?
No, because like that's what you're looking at for a Switch in a game.
Well, right, but what I mean is, if you were to buy, like, if they came out with a new Switch, would you
Oh, I see.
buy? Would you buy a new Switch for $400? I don't think I would.
That's a hard sell, man. Especially if the games are coming out for this Switch also.
Well,
You know what I mean?
so like Breath of the Wild 2, we'll put it. I feel like they're going to bump up the graphical quality of Breath of the Wild 2. I don't
Yeah,
think
I
it's going to
agree.
be just the same old, right? I
Right.
feel like it's going to have some kind of upgrade, which means I would imagine that Breath of the Wild like stretched the Switch to its capacity. Just
Yeah,
by
I
looking
figured.
into just what does it take to render those long distances of what you can see?
Yeah, because you can see the entire giant map and then go there. And maybe they like hide the loading times and stuff when you're gliding around, but it feels like it's basically all rendered, you know?
Yeah, the only loading time I really notice is when you go down into the shrines.
Right. That's it.
That's really
Eh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Or
because
go into like a divine beast, but it's the same thing as a shrine, basically.
yeah, I think that just makes it instanced.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, it's it's a Nintendo money grab. I'm sold on that. It's just a money grab. They weren't ready to drop the Breath of the Wild 2 because that's going to be the launch game of the new system, and I think that this is going to be their way of capitalizing on sales through this holiday season. Because I'm calling it now. Switch LED is going to be the item of the holiday season.
Yep.
Oh, but you know what just popped into my head?
What?
Do you think they're going to pull this bullshit of no systems in the stores again? Only online sales?
That was
You,
a thing?
yeah, dude, you can't walk into a GameStop or I should say Target and Best Buy and buy a PlayStation 5 or Xbox. It's
Really?
only online sales.
Wow.
Because there's signs in like Target that says this item is not sold in stores. Go online and check to see. Like they don't put it on the shelves. It's in the back room, so you have to like purchase it through online, which to me just means okay, scammers are just all like the scalpers are just going to get them all.
Yeah, or I guess that means like people don't have to like line up at the store and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I guess they're trying to avoid that chaos in person, I suppose.
but now I just hope that like I understand during COVID you had to do all that, but like dude, there's people that like you still can't get a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox.
That's so crazy to me.
It's insane.
Still.
The system's been out almost a year and you can't get them.
That's nuts.
Right. Anyway, so that's my Switch rant. Nick, what have you been doing?
So I'm going to take a page out of Marcus's book in terms of expressing my emotions. I have 2 words for my first bullet point. Fuck mono. Those are the 2 words.
No,
So if you didn't know, if you're not in the Discord and stuff, I had been very, very sick. So last episode, Kitty filled in for me, and he's an awesome co-host. And for what I thought was some sort of random viral infection, well, I got much, much sicker over the next couple days after that, and I ended up going to the emergency room. And I'll spare you the gory details, but like I had some symptoms where I was like, okay, what the hell is wrong with me? Turns out my liver enzymes are super elevated, my liver's not working great, my spleen was super duper enlarged, and I had mono, which is why I had a fever for like 7 days in a row, and just felt completely terrible. The treatment for that is just like rest and fluids and stuff, but it took a long time to like figure out what the hell was wrong with me. And I also cannot drink any alcohol because my liver's still screwed up. It's going to be for about a month. I also cannot do any contact sports at all for about a month or so because my spleen is enlarged, and if you rupture your spleen through like contact, you can die pretty quickly, and you need like emergency surgery to fix it and not die. So all of that is because of stupid mono, and that's why I was laid up last episode, but I didn't realize it was mono doing that. But you also get very, very fatigued, very tired. I've been doing much better in that department lately, which is great, but like this weekend and like earlier this week, by like 5-6 o'clock at night, I'd be like completely wiped and like need to lay down. and just be worthless.
And it's true. So when I got to his house, he was like chipper and he was like normal Nick. And as I was finishing, and I think it was like 6, he's like, I'm fucking tired. I'm
just
like, what?
Bleh.
And I was like, dude, you were just fine. And you're like, it just hit me. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, that's how it happens. All of us like, I'm fine. Then all of a sudden I just fall off a cliff and I'm like, fucking mono.
Yeah.
So, but I'm back to work now. I'm moving and grooving. I just can't play paintball, which is annoying. But yeah, in the meantime, I've been playing a whole lot of Breath of the Wild since we last checked in. So way back when, I had played about 60 hours or so, 60. And I'd done a bunch of stuff. I got the Master Sword. I conquered 2 out of the 4 Divine Beasts. I had some pretty good armor and things. I had a lot of stuff unlocked. I had all the towers unlocked. About 40 out of the 200, a third of the shrines. There's 120 of them, and I had about 40 of them. So I did like a good chunk of stuff. But so with Breath of the Wild 2 coming out, I wanted to make a conscious effort to like finish it. So I did. Well, I was laid up. Conquered the Flying Divine Beast. I don't remember his name. And then just recently, I conquered the Volcano Divine Beast. I think I did them backwards pretty much in order. I think I did like the hardest one first. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to go Water Divine Beast, Air Divine Beast, Lava Divine Beast, and then the Desert one last. I did the Desert one first. But anywho, I conquered all the Divine Beasts, and I'm like, okay. There was like 3 play sessions where I could have gone and beat Ganon. The first one, I only had 2 shields, a good one and a crappy one. And part of the boss fight in Ganon, you really should have a shield for to parry some of his attacks. And I didn't. My shields broke right away, and I couldn't really beat it. That part. So then I went back, got the shields, and then I'm like, but I should really like try to get some cool armor, like the ancient armor or something that's expensive. And I'm like, I should really unlock that last fairy fountain that's 10,000 rupees to unlock so I can upgrade my armor more. So like, this is leading me to, I haven't beaten Ganon yet. I literally, all I gotta do is storm the castle and beat him up. But I have the Hyrule shield. I have the real ancient shield that like parries all the guardian attacks automatically, which is sweet. I've got all kinds of good gear, and I'm just like, there's stuff I want to do still. It feels weird like leaving so much stuff unexplored and just conquering Ganon. I'm gonna do it, but that's where I'm at. I'm like ready to conquer Ganon, but I just haven't done it yet. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
it makes a lot of sense. So the hardest part for me with Breath of the Wild, which I've expressed many, many times, is the break weapon mechanics. So like the fact that it's just, that's their false grind. Right. So they said, okay, we're going to, because if you didn't have to, if the weapons didn't break, people would just walk to the end and try to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with the weapons breaking, it allows you to have to grind, because like you would have just beat Ganon and we would be talking about how awesome the ending of the game was and what do you do now? But because you couldn't beat it, now you have to go back and get shields. For me, I think that's awesome. I actually saw the shields when I was at your house.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm like
yawning.
No, like out of breath. Like I say, maybe I'm just talking really fast and really loud, and it's just like expressing all of my lung air. Yeah, and then I got to take another deep breath. But anyway,
yep.
Exactly. Now you can go and kill Ganon, which I'm excited for you to do, because in the midst of our non-live podcast that we had at Nick's house, we also talked about what are you going to do after you beat Ganon? Because does the game just end, and if you log in, it just logs you back into before you beat Ganon, like the last save prior to?
Right. That I don't know. I thought that was the case, that like once you beat Ganon, you're done. But now that I'm talking to you, I don't think so, because there's a bunch of like stuff you can do after the fact. If not on the base game, then I think the DLC or one of the expansions definitely lets you like play after Ganon, after you beat Ganon. But also, I should know, it's not, we're calling it Ganon, but it's not actually Ganon. It's like
yes. Oh,
Calamity Ganon.
Answer. After you beat Ganon, Hold on. Again.
This is what happens when we let Marcus read the articles and not me.
Shut up. Answer. So, answer. After you beat Ganon.
Wait, is that the answer?
Oh my God. After you beat Ganon, the game will reset to the last save before fighting him. So all your weapons/resources will be returned as they were before that save. The only thing that will change is that you get a star after your save game in the menu. I forgot where to indicate that you completed the game. So basically, you'll beat Ganon, but then when you log back in, you can go finish all the stuff. It'll just show that Ganon is still alive, even though you've beat him.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Thanks, Google.
Well, Google's always got her back. Let's see. So that's basically it with Breath of the Wild. I'm ready to beat Ganon. I got all the tools.
Do you think you'll do the DLC?
Probably not, because there's no story content to it, right? It doesn't like expand on anything. It just gives you like more. There's like a challenge thing you can do that's like really difficult. And then there's like skins, not skins, but like armors and things you can get. I think there's a motorcycle that can get added, which is kind of cool. Stuff like that. Last thing I want to talk about, I've been watching a whole bunch of Loki. Let's see, episode 4, which came out last week, was absolutely epic and completely turns the show upside down, and it was awesome. I'm not going to say any spoilers because Marcus has not seen any of the show. And then episode 5 that I was eagerly awaiting came out yesterday, and it was not the plot moving part that I really wanted to see. But there's tons, and literally tons of comic Easter eggs and references that I did not understand. I had to look up a bunch of them. It was really a visually stunning episode, but just not like the plot progression that you want to see after the ridiculous complete twist that happens in episode 4. So episode 6, which is the finale next week, we'll reveal that for sure. And I'm super looking forward to it. But that's basically it. If you're not watching Loki on Disney Plus, you're missing out. 100% go watch it.
I am a complete terrible TV watcher, and I talk about this all the time, but I don't watch TV. Like, there's shows that I want to watch. Like, I haven't even, I kind of quit on Bad Batch, and everybody told me that it's gotten good. But
there was you're not missing much, I don't think. I'm pretty sure I'm current. Through episode 9 or 10.
I feel like they because it was an animated show, they stretched it out. Instead of just making 8 awesome episodes, they did let's do 16, just like the Clone Wars. But it's not like the Clone Wars. And I bet there are some good episodes, but
yeah,
I just got lost after the 4th episode. I was just like, yeah.
Yes. So I'm current through episode 10, and it's like the best parts of the show are the fan servicey parts where they bring characters back from the Clone Wars.
Okay.
That's basically it.
Nintendo released a video highlighting some of additions the DLC will add. The DLC adds a bunch of new features, with the biggest one being the Champions Ballot Quest. That's the hard mode of stuff. The DLC expands upon their story significantly. There will also be a bunch of new shrines and armor and weapons you can find. So basically, they're expanding on the story, but I don't think it's going to be critical for anything.
Yeah.
And you're dying. You're totally dying.
I drank my water the wrong way. That's all. I forgot.
Oh, you drank it through your nose? He drank through nose. Oh, I don't use my mouth to drink. I sniff it.
I sniffed my water. Thank you very much.
That's a nice straw you got there. It's got a nice booger buildup.
Oh, can you imagine? That's just nasty.
Anyway, so the last thing is back to the TV thing. I really want to watch Loki. The problem is I'm too busy to watch it. Because really, my days are full.
Yeah, you come home, you stream. Well, family time, then run to stream or run to raid or whatever.
Right. And And honestly, and I'm being honest, I would so much rather play Destiny or SWTOR than watch Loki.
Yeah, I get you.
And
I mean, I think it's epic.
And did you see today the article that came out? Disney came out. The Disney executive came out and said they are no longer going to be signing multi-year contracts for Marvel characters. And their comment was like, we want people who are excited to play Marvel characters, not people who think that they're just because they played the character once, they're entitled to play the character again, or like they have to. Because, you know, what's the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy? Not Groot, not Rocket.
Oh, the main guy?
No.
Oh, the big dude.
Yes.
Oh my God, I just had it.
Yeah. Well, because he said that after he plays him again in the next Guardians movie, he's never doing it again. And I'm like, I guess I understand, like, as an actor or actress, you may not want to play the same role for a long time. Yeah. But like, people love that character. People love you. Like, why wouldn't you want to play it? Like, you can go do another movie. You don't have to be super jacked red guy. You know what I mean?
The character is Drax.
Yeah.
And the actor is Dave Bautista.
Yeah, Bautista. He doesn't want to play it again.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know why you wouldn't, but whatever, to each their own.
Well, I think it's just like, look at what happened to Luke Skywalker. I mean, Mark Hamill. Oh my God. Mark Hamill played Luke Skywalker, and it kind of like, that's who he is.
Yeah, it like made him
like
not able to
yeah, he played in a couple movies other than Star Wars, but like he did a bunch of animated stuff. Like, he's the best Joker ever.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hands down.
Second best. Heath Ledger's pretty legit as Joker.
Yeah, but like to apples and oranges, you know, that's animated.
Yeah,
versus live action.
Yeah, but I look at them all and judge them all the same because I prefer an animated show over a real show, right? But Heath Ledger played the best Joker ever.
I think that's true.
You know what I mean?
Most like realistic.
Just like Christian Bale, to me, is the best Batman ever, or Michael Keaton, one of the two.
I prefer Christian Bale personally. I think he did an excellent job. I mean, I'm a big Christian Bale fan anyway. I think he's a fantastic actor.
Like,
I basically like every movie he's in. But yeah. Ben Affleck did I think he's just screwed. Like, you can't follow Christian, like, it's apples and oranges, that comparison.
Yeah.
You know, it's a completely different style, different actor. Like,
well, different time.
It's a different time, but also like completely different, like acting stratospheres, right? Like, Christian Bale takes everything to the extreme. He's like a super method actor.
Did you see that movie he did, American Psycho?
Yes.
It's the greatest movie ever made.
I really enjoy that movie. But like, he like has these crazy body transformations he does all the time. He's played like super fat Dick Cheney. He's played like completely like anorexic, emaciated person, and I think it's like The Machinist or something like that. Like, he goes above and beyond and like is an incredible actor. So like, he's like in a completely different stratosphere than Ben Affleck, who's like essentially a guy from Boston.
Yeah.
Not literally. Right. He's better than that, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Christian Bale or Matthew McConaughey? Go.
Christian Bale.
Matthew McConaughey for life, dude.
Oh, dude, you're making me pick on the spot. You're saying like it's like Luke or Yoda. It's like, fuck.
Oh, it's Luke all day.
I know. Well, yeah, I picked Christian Bale, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Doesn't mean the other one's bad.
No. You can't. No, it's not about who's bad. I'm just asking who you prefer. Just like I said, okay, Nick, hot coffee or iced coffee?
Iced coffee.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I feel like the honesty.
I like hot coffee, but you know.
See, I don't. The only time I like hot coffee is if I go out to breakfast with my family and I'm sitting there and I'll say, okay, I'll have a cup of coffee, because their iced coffee at a diner or a restaurant is not going to be as good. It's not going to be good. It's going to be like yesterday's coffee that they put in the fridge.
Right.
And so that's the only time I drink hot coffee is at breakfast. And that's very rare.
That's fair.
And you know why? It's because when I drink something, I want to drink it. I don't want to sip it. Like, that's why I don't drink wine. I don't sip it. Like, give me the box of wine. I'll hold the button and I'll just hold it up to my mouth and keep drinking until like my thirst is quenched. You know what I mean?
Just take it out of the box and slap the bag while you're at it.
Oh, man, you have no idea how many times I've played that game.
Me too.
And I've actually tried to break the bag, and it's impossible. That bag is indestructible.
Dude, that bag is like vinyl.
Yes, it's indestructible. Very much so. Well, I don't swirl the wine around. Oh, look at how it coats the glass. Let me sip it. Oh, I gotta cleanse the palate. That's not me. I can't. I'm not a wine drinker. Like, I can't. I
get it.
Yeah, it's just not for me. Anyway, wow.
I am. For the record, don't try to derail this side rail. We're going strong on the side rail here. That's not even how you sidebar.
Wow.
What even is a side rail? That's like the side rail on like a stretcher on a bed.
Or like a kid stops a little kid from rolling off the bed when they first get into the big boy or big girl bed.
Right, that's true too. So no, I was saying I like wine. Some wines. I'm not a wine snobby person, but I will like enjoy things like that. It was funny the other night. My parents opened a bottle of like some crazy like $120 bottle of wine they got as a present.
Of course they did.
Yeah, because so funny story. My mom was like, "Why don't we open that fancy wine?" We were having pizza, and my mom goes, "Yeah, we can have it with the pizza." My dad goes, "Honey, we're not opening that bottle of wine." She goes, "Why? I'm not worth it." And he goes, "It's like $120." And he goes, "No, you're not."
Oh my
He was
God.
obviously kidding. But at the end of the day, we're like, sometimes my mom goes, "Yeah, sometimes those expensive bottles are crappy. Like, let's just open it and try it. Who cares?" And my dad's like, "You know what? You're right. Life's too short. Let's just fucking open the $120 bottle of wine we got." And sure enough, it was terrible. So it's not all about the price. Sometimes those, like, you got to try the wine to figure out what you like. But yeah, back at the ranch. Marcus, what were you going to say?
Nothing.
So in AIE news, Tuesdays are our mandatory fun night where the fun is mandatory, but attendance is not. This is for our guild, by the way. AIE. Tuesdays are mandatory fun night.
You already said this.
I know. They're 9 to 11 p.m. And we switch back and forth between the awesome Imperial side and Star Wars: Old Republic, and sometimes we have to go to the Republic side where it's all sunshines and rainbows and nobody actually dies, they just faint.
I just thought we befriend the enemies on the pub side. They don't actually die. We just befriend them.
It's they're friends, and then they go back to their house, and then we'll go knock on the door and see if they can come outside to play later.
And for everybody that's new, our guild has multiple games that we play, and there's a mandatory fun night for almost every game, a different night every week. And some games have multiple mandatory fun nights. So please, like, once you're in the Discord, please check out all of the games, and like you can see in the pinned post that with what night the guild calendar, I should say, what nights are which for mandatory fun night, because there's so much fun to be had, and the fun is mandatory, but attendance is not.
Correct.
But did you hear that Fridays are the place to be in AIE?
Yes, they are. And with respect to Star Wars: Old Republic, Fridays are the place to be in motherfucking AIE. I don't know why I have to swear about it every time, and
it's a family-friendly guild, and you're dropping the swears.
Wow, that's just terrible. I guess it's on brand for me, I suppose. But so Fridays are the place to be in AIE. The first Friday of every month is Master Mode Flashpoints, where they do the super hard Flashpoint content. The second Friday of every month is hard mode training, specifically Scum and Villainy month.
That's tomorrow or today when you're listening to this.
Yes, that is hard mode operations training, specifically the Scum and Villainy operation. The third Friday of every month, which is next week, is achievement hunting. So all of the Datacrons you couldn't find and various cool achievements, the AIE folks will help you find them. And the fourth Friday of every month, that's 4 Fridays, or Friday. It's Mega, the monthly Epic Guild activity, run by none other than Marcus B814.
I can't wait. So
wait a minute. Hold on. Did you know it's really not... You get a great bargain when you sign up for Mega.
Why?
Because we give you... Oh my God. I forgot the whole thing.
I got nothing.
We sell you a ticket for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge, is what I was going to say.
Oh my God. You completely butchered that. Like that was like the biggest fail ever. It's like our first podcast. Let me get the squeaky chair.
I
You know what I mean?
You know what happened? I literally got like halfway through reading the AIE news part, and like I just got so tired. Like the mono kicked in. I blame the mono monster.
Oh my god,
that was just terrible.
Up. Go take like a baby sip of like coffee.
No, I'm gonna do something.
Anyway, so
Mega. What are we doing for Mega?
All right, so on
Mega
on 7/23, this month's Mega, we're going to be racing on Tatooine. So get your mounts gassed up and make sure you get some goggles because
it's a Mega.
Yes, because we're going to be racing. Yeah, we're going to be racing around Tatooine. Basically, we're going to be racing from point to point to point, and in order to get to the point, you're going to need to complete some tasks. It's awesome.
And if all this sounds fun to you, go to aie-guild.org, click the Discord link in the top right-hand portion of the webpage, and ask for a guild invite. Whether or not you play Star Wars: The Old Republic or any of the other games that we play, we would love to have you.
Nick, I know you got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, and apparently I need some coffee too. So we'll be right back.
Jeez, Nick, hurry up. We're trying to finish this podcast.
And we're back. So today we're doing a breakdown of the special 10th anniversary edition SOTOR live stream that Bioware did, which of course announced Star Wars: The Old Republic's newest expansion, Legacy of the Sith.
This is something that we've been waiting for a long time. So we've been hearing about the 10th anniversary since the 8th anniversary.
Yeah, pretty much.
And for me, I'm just like, it has to be good. Like this expansion to me now has to be good. They have to go all out. They got to put all their apples in a row or ducks in a row, whatever you say.
Ducks in a row.
Yeah.
Apples in this basket.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can't hype something up for 2 years and then do a mediocre job, right?
Right.
Or that's how I feel. So can I start?
Of course, please do.
So we'll talk about the live stream itself in a minute, but like the hype was there. I think at the height, I saw like 5,628 viewers on Twitch watching this live stream.
Yep.
It was 30 minutes. They got in, they got out, but something that I did really, really, really appreciate, they almost had like a pre-show of pre-recorded videos of the developers talking about the game from like the last 10 years, like people that have been a part of the game since 2009 and some people that have been a part of the studio since 2020. Right. And it was really cool to see like the faces behind some of the content.
Right.
Because we've had some of them on and, it's only a few, it's like 3 or 4, you know what I mean? Where then you see a broader spectrum of them and you're like, oh, lead designer for the world environment. And I'm like, I immediately was like, I would love to talk to this person on the podcast.
Yeah.
And like, talk about like, what is the struggle you have to go through to get a world approved?
I can't even imagine the whole world.
Oh, I like this whole area except this one oak tree. It has too many leaves for canon. You're like, what? Too many leaves? They look like strings. Oh no, it's got 50. It has 50 leaves. You need 46. You know what I mean?
It's probably that specific too, honestly.
No, I know that, but that's what I mean. Like, can you imagine like we talk about grinding in games? Can you imagine the grind it takes to build a Star Wars world and get it approved by all? It's like when all
the hands in that pot.
How about this? When I applied for like my business license in the town that my shop is in, there's the board of selectmen or whatever it is. And there's like 9 personalities up there. And I was thinking to myself, they're like, okay, we'll ask some questions. And I'm thinking to myself, there's going to be 9 personalities that are all going to have their own questions. And then once they ask questions, they're going to have questions on top of those questions. I'm going to be here all night. And And I got a little bit of it because, like, when somebody asked a question, they're like, "Oh, I didn't think of that." Yeah. So what do you do when it comes to this? And I'm like, "Are you guys kidding me? I'm just trying to build cabinets."
Right.
And like for this person, it's probably like, "I'm just trying to build a world." Like, what does it matter if there's 48? There's 50 leaves on the tree and not 48.
Right.
You know, can you imagine what it takes for them to go through to build a lightsaber?
No.
Like
the whole hilt?
Yes, the hilt.
And that's now like a canon lightsaber and stuff
I don't think it's canon, but like I'm sure that they want it to be
close.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it can be curved, but it can't be curved like that because it'll look too much like Dooku's or too much like Ventress's.
Or too much like Bane's or something.
Right,
or
exactly.
Yeah. Not that there's a canon version of Bane's lightsaber, but I wish there was. But yeah. Anyway,
so like I was saying, yeah. So Nick, what did you think of the live stream? And let's do our opinions before we talk about what they are
like the content,
because we are going to take our time. We're going to read through the post that they put on the website, and we're going to talk about each part. But Nick, the bullet points for you right out of the gate. What did you think of the live stream? Because I know you were there.
So my perspective on the live stream was I wasn't really sure what to expect, like in terms of content, and I think it's really cool that they're doing a legit expansion with a legitimate chunk of story, a full operation. Is it one flashpoint or two? I think it's two, right?
Well, so it's two, but it's not at launch. So we're going to get one flashpoint at launch and then one following it into the next year. Later. So we can break this down. So the 10th year anniversary, it's going to be from now, which is, let's call it August of 2021, all the way until 2023. So really, like, they're celebrating the 10th year, the whole 10th year.
Yeah.
Basically, they're going to give us our expansion, but there's more. And if you act right now, you can get 2 ShamWows. You know what I mean? Kind of a thing.
Yeah, buy one, get one free.
Exactly. Buy one, get 2 free. But anyway, so yes. As you were saying, so you're like, okay, so we're getting Flashpoint, we're getting a new operation. What do you think? And what else? Anything else?
I liked some of the artwork that they showed was really cool. One of the planets we're going to, Manan, is that how you say it? Manan, sorry, is like largely a water planet, and you're doing a lot of underwater stuff, and of course the infrastructure is breaking down, and it gave me like a little bit of a Rapture from BioShock vibe. Dude. Where like the underwater city's breaking down, but like obviously it's Star Wars, so it's like futuristic looking, not 1920s looking, but it was really cool.
Are you in the Shadow of Revan expansion?
Yeah.
You didn't do the prelude to Shadow of Revan, which was the Manan Flashpoint? It is underwater.
Maybe I didn't. I feel like I would have remembered that.
Yeah, so me and you should do that for sure.
Okay.
Because you'll love it. Anyway.
Yeah. So anyways, that, and then we got a piece of artwork from like Shadows of the Underworld, I think. At least that's the bullet point it's connected to. It's this Jedi, I'm assuming because they have a green lightsaber, going through this like completely overgrown.
Scroll all the way down. It's there.
Yeah, I know. I see it. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, okay.
Jedi with a green lightsaber looking at like a completely overgrown with like vines of plant growth and like this like red light everywhere. And it almost reminds me, this is going way back now, I think it's the first Harry Potter movie where like they get taken over by the plants and they get sucked down into plant world, like underneath everything.
So
do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
That's what it reminds me of, where it's just vines everywhere and it's all red. And like seeing, I'm presumably because it's bathed in red light, my thoughts went, oh, it's just like evil plants. And it made me think of the books we're listening to in the High Republic with the Drengir.
Yes. That if I wasn't reading the High Republic books, I would not be thinking Drengir. I would be thinking Stranger Things.
Yes, exactly. It almost looks like the Upside Down with all the viney things. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. We got a sidebar. Bart, you and I are almost done with Into the Dark.
Yes. No, Rising Storm.
That's what I mean. Rising Storm. We finished Into the Dark already. The Rising Storm. We're both almost done. So next episode we'll probably talk about. I don't know when we'll talk about it, but
I think
we're gonna do a whole episode on it.
I think when Kitty comes on, that's when we're gonna do the
A full
breakdown. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about it, but like I like when Kitty's on it because like I feel like when 3 people listen to it, each person catches something a little different.
Yes. Yeah.
And all I'm saying is I feel really bad for Loden Greatstorm.
Yeah, me too. And this is my favorite of the 3 books in the High Republic that I've listened to so far, for sure.
Yeah, the book reminds me so far, and I'm not done. It really gives me like the Empire Strikes Back feel.
Yes, exactly, 100%.
Meanwhile,
I think that's all. Meanwhile,
back to the live stream.
The live stream, the expansion. So that was cool. I was honestly pretty excited about like the environments and the world building and how much content you're actually getting. Because it's not just like, oh, you get like a piece of an operation and one flashpoint and basically no story. It's like a bunch of story, a full operation with 5 bosses, a flashpoint, and then another one later. It's like it's a lot of content and it's really cool. Plus, this seems really cool with like the actual content, like the legacy of the Sith. I love dark side stuff, and it's something to the effect of like Malgus is up to no good, which is always awesome. He's on his own doing something, and like there's like he's collecting relics from like this one old like Sith Lord that was like forgotten to history or something. So like you're getting into like you're deep diving into a Sith lore, and it just seems really cool to me. Like I'm a story person anyway, so the environments are cool, the story seems cool. That's what I'm pretty pumped about.
I am too.
But
all right, for me, I actually feel like maybe they're going to prove me wrong. For me, the story content doesn't seem like it's going to be enough. I actually, in each expansion that they give us, there's always something that changes. Like, okay, we're going to be doing this. Okay, we're going to be doing crates. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing that. And this is going to be the new thing. So I feel like I was expecting that one thing that they're changing, which they're changing the combat/class system, which we'll talk about after.
Yeah.
So I expected that like a game-changing thing. They talked about the way the game looks is going to be changing. So I'm guessing Windows 11 is coming. So they're going to have to upgrade. They're going to have to upgrade the game anyways to run on Windows 11. So while they're doing that, upgrade the game. So is that really a feature or is that a necessity?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Wait, when is Windows 11 supposed to come out?
Sometime this year.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Well, I won't be getting it right away because like how many things are going to be broken? Like,
you can't
think about all the things that you run are now going to have to run on a new operating system. Sounds like a nightmare. Yeah, exactly. No, anyway, the new operation I'm really excited for. Again, it's one operation. It's not, hey, they said nothing about another one. So is this the only operation we're getting for the next 2 years? You know what I mean? And I would have been wooed if they were like, hey, we're getting a new operation, but halfway through next year, we're going to be releasing one boss at a time to another new operation. You see what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, okay, you're giving us the same stuff you gave us with the last expansion. This is not the biggest build up to what's coming for 10th year that you've been building up for 3 years. And I'm not being a negative Nancy. I'm just being honest. Right?
Yeah.
Then telling us that we're getting one flashpoint and one later, we get flashpoints all the time. So I was a little underwhelmed on their big announcement. Now, a lot of things can change, and I'm sure when they deep dive into these things, it's going to get really cool. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about my initial reaction.
Yeah.
Bam. Oh, something else that I want to pick off before anything else. Mm-hmm. If you've been watching the interwebs, everybody is talking about SWTOR. So there's
lots of big news outlets.
Right. All the big news outlets have been talking about SWTOR. And I saw there's a World of Warcraft streamer playing was playing SWOTOR, and there was like 1,100 or 1,200 people watching his stream, and he was playing SWOTOR, right? And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But then I actually thought about it, and he was giving away 30-day subcodes. Well, that's a Bioware item. That's not a code that you can purchase, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on here. Was he sponsored by Bioware to play the game for 3 hours? Now I don't know them. I didn't even follow them because I don't connect to big streamers. That's not who I am. You know what I mean? I like to know my community. So like those big streamers, I just don't know. Like, you know what I mean? They don't do it for me. Then the other day, Shroud, everybody knows who Shroud is, was talking about SWOTOR on Twitter. Now, again, is he being genuine, or is he one of the highest paid streamers and this is a marketing campaign paid for by EA?
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
And granted, I'm not upset about it if they are putting their ducks into the streaming market, because I do believe in 2021, your content creators make or break your game.
I think that's true, because that's your whole marketing, basically. Not your whole marketing, but like
it is.
That's like it's a big chunk. I feel
if you have somebody, I'll say like Chimeri. Chimeri's playing SWOTOR PvP. He's got 50 or 60 people watching it. What if they're new players that have never played the game and then they download it? You just won, and you're not paying Chimeri to play the game. He's just playing it because he loves it. You know what I mean? Where the bigger streamers, Dr. Disrespect, Shroud, all that stuff, they're doing it for the money. They're not doing it because they love the games. They're doing it because they make millions of dollars doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a job for
them. So it's a job. Well, it's a job, period, to do it for them. So are they going to be just talking about a game that they're not getting paid for? I don't think so.
No, definitely not.
I feel
not
like
they're at that level.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like SWOTOR, I'm really excited that they are going all out for this expansion. Like, I'm really excited that they are putting their heart and soul into this. And they're really accommodating the new player with the new system, which we'll talk about. Mm-hmm. But so Nick, want to read that first thing?
Yes, I do. So in their post describing Legacy of the Sith, the title says an ongoing conflict. So I think this is describing the story.
Oh no, above that.
Oh. Sorry. So we are thrilled to announce.
Yeah.
So we are thrilled to announce the next era for Star Wars The Old Republic. The year-long celebration of our 10th anniversary kicks off with Legacy of the Sith, a new expansion that marks the starting point to a full year of galactic intrigue, conflict, and mystery. Legacy of the Sith will send players to the darkest depths and farthest reaches of the galaxy and unlock the ability to choose your personal combat style, allowing for more options than ever before when it comes to living and breathing your own Star Wars fantasy.
That was really worded well. The thing that I immediately heard was farthest reaches of space and of the galaxy and unlock your ability to choose your personal combat style. All right, let's keep this going.
So, an ongoing conflict, a war between the Galactic Republic and the Sith Empire spreads to new worlds. Dangerous fringe groups rise in the dark corners of the galaxy, and Darth Malgus pursues an unknown plan. Unravel these mysteries and more as your choices continue to shape the galaxy.
So, we all know that, like, what's Malgus up to? He's clearly doing something. He's trying to collect items or do something. So, like, honestly, I really like the story. I really do, because I feel like the story, Bioware stories are always so good because there's answer choices and like decisions and all this stuff, and it all affects like the way you play. I like that. I don't like a linear story. And Malgus is definitely my favorite character in the game.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Well, that's cool. I like more Malgus. More Malgus, more better. So expanding upon the more combat styles and choices. Introducing combat styles. Players can now separate their class story from gameplay style for an even greater customization experience. This frees up advanced class options as characters can choose any advanced class within the tech or force playstyle. Play as a trooper wielding a sniper rifle, or a Sith Inquisitor with a lightsaber in each hand, or even secretly use darkside powers while posing as a member of the Jedi Order. Loadouts will increase your ability to customize, allowing you to swap between playstyles and gear with just a click, which is pretty cool. And then they have photos of a trooper with all kinds of different weapons.
Right. So
This made me a little nervous.
Well, I'm excited for this because a Marauder tank is going to be like, I'm going to just Marauder tank. Like, that's it. It's game over. Like, Marauder tank is all that I am going to be doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So just going into what they were saying about the combat styles and the tech and the force. So if you use the force, you're going to be able to pick your own advanced classes through the force. And if you use tech, which is guns and blasters and all that stuff, you'll be able to choose between it. What I like about this, and that they did not mention in this article, is that there is going to be something called loadouts. Basically, Nick, if you're playing your Sith Jug and you want to switch to a Sith sorcerer, but you're going to be able to stay on your own character, you're going to be able to click the loadout, which you've saved of all like your buttons and all your moves for your sorcerer, and it's just going to transfer over. So basically, Final Fantasy 14 does this, and this is what they do. So basically, you have one character in Final Fantasy 14, and you can have everything in the entire game. Every job that they have, or every class that they have, you can be that. So basically, you create one character, and that's your character for life.
Well, that's cool. I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's really intriguing.
It sounds really convenient, to just switch quickly.
Well, really new player friendly.
Yeah, because now new players can like have a few different people set up, like in one character, essentially.
That's right.
I think it's awesome. Also, we are returning to the underwater depths. The Sith Empire has invaded Manan to seize its abundance of Kolto, a vital medical resource on all sides of the war. Battle through underwater facilities for control of the planet with separate Imperial and Republic storylines. Completing the Manan storyline will unlock a new base of operations for your faction, along with a new daily area. Well, that's cool.
Yep.
And then we get some artwork, which kind of gives me Camino vibes, honestly.
Yeah, that's Manan.
It's a giant ocean world with like structures coming out of the ocean. Then obviously we have some artwork later that's like one of the tunnels underneath the water, which is cool.
Right. Well, this Manan picture it looks nothing like what Manan looks like in the prelude to Shadow of Revan. It's very sunny. It gives you that very, very beach vibe, and it looks like Manan has been destroyed.
Right. Manan is very clearly war-torn. There's a lot of orange in here that I'm now realizing is like fire from explosions and things, but It's pretty cool. So, explore a ruined Sith fortress. So that the story continues on the planet Elam. E-L-O-M.
Elam.
The story continues on the planet Elam with the discovery of a ruined Sith fortress that was mysteriously erased from all records. Rumors persist that Darth Malgus, on the hunt for ancient relics throughout the galaxy, may have found something critical to the future of the Jedi and the Sith. This new storyline will be available both as a solo experience as well as a multiplayer flashpoint. So that's cool. So that's going to be a flashpoint to explore Elam. Sorry.
Well,
right?
Yes.
Or maybe it's a bit of story with the flashpoint as at the end or something.
Well, no. So like the solo, you can do all the flashpoints. You can do solo. So like you would do them solo, Nick, and you would go through with your companions and go through. And then the multiplayer version is you can do it as a 4-person dungeon, essentially. So me, you, Kat, and Ben could go in and just do a flashpoint together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the multiplayer experience. But again, so they announced a one planet, and then this one planet that we're going to get to go to, and then this one flashpoint. Again, I'm going back to, it's exciting that we're getting new content, but it's not, they haven't wooed me yet.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. The next point shows gather your allies in deep space. An obscure Sith cult is harvesting technology from an ancient weapon of terrifying power. In the new R4 anomaly operation, players will need to gather their allies to take down this galactic threat in deep space.
Okay, so this is right up my wheelhouse. They said that on launch day of the expansion, story mode and veteran mode will be available at launch. Mid-year 2022, the master mode / nightmare version will be released.
That's cool.
Yeah, so basically they've been working on this operation. It's going to come out and it's going to be awesome. And it sounds to me like it's its own standalone version. It kind of sounds like a little more of like Duxin. I don't know if, it's connected at all. It would be pretty cool if it was. Like, I don't want to say it's like directly connected, but somehow, some way, like, oh, this researcher got away from Duxin before, all hell broke loose in Duxin and they started this. You know what I mean? Because it's not telling us how much time has passed from the last expansion to today.
Right. The next section says Shadows of the Underworld. Legacy of the Sith kicks off the next galactic season, Shadows of the Underworld. A new batch of rewards themed around the Shadow Syndicate, including Fenzil, a Duros gunslinger, and first Duros companion in the Old Republic, will be available to all participating players. The new season will also come with a host of quality of life improvements thanks to player feedback from our inaugural season in Game Update 6.3. So if you don't know, a Duros is the
Cad
same...
Bane.
Exactly. It's the same species as Cad Bane, which is pretty cool. And then we have some artwork that shows Fenzil in with his bionic eye that he has, which is cool.
Okay, so
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so basically the next galactic season comes out with Legacy of the Sith, which is awesome. And we're going to get a new awesome companion. And so what I will say about the galactic seasons, now I was lazy as shit and I bought my way to the end on day one because I don't grind. What is nice about it is I feel like it has created a buzz in the game and gotten people to group up more and engaged people in the content that they don't normally do. So for me, I think it's a success completely. Like, I personally like the Battle Pass. I've always said I've liked the Battle Pass because it drives you to play the game.
The multipass.
The multipass.
No, I agree. We've talked about this a whole bunch. I think the Battle Pass is a good idea, and I think the Galactic Seasons is working pretty well. I am in full support. Speaking of things that I support, improved player experience.
As we all do.
Yes. As we head into our 10th year of service for the Old Republic, we're taking a deeper look at improving the overall player experience for both newcomers and veterans alike. This initiative begins with the Legacy of the Sith expansion, but will continue throughout the entire year-long celebration. Players can expect a completely new character creation experience, along with new looks for the character sheet, inventory, and much more. Legacy of the Sith is free to all subscribers and launches holiday of 2021. So in approximately 6 months.
So I feel like hearing this, like, okay, that's not changing. They said nothing about the way the game plays or looks. They said they're upgrading some UI stuff. Again, like, I'm excited just because I love this game and this is my favorite game of all time. And I'm excited for the expansion. I don't want to sound like a downer at all because I'm not. But it just seems like it's not like we're getting we're getting some quality of life stuff. This doesn't seem like kapow 10th year anniversary stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm still, but again, it could change. And then I know the celebration's going to continue.
It sure does. The celebration continues is our next heading. Legacy of the Sith is just the start of our 10th year celebration, and you can expect so much more throughout the next year, including regular story updates, Master Mode R4 Anomaly, further user interface updates, a PvP system revamp, wow, more galactic seasons, a new Flashpoint, new locations, tech modernization, visual improvements, and maybe even a few more surprises.
So there it is.
Right. We cannot thank you enough for the years of support, and we can't wait for you to get your hands on Legacy of the Sith this holiday. Subscribers will get the chance to check out the changes as soon as the expansion hits our public test server in the near future. Keep your eyes on SOTOR.com for more Legacy of the Sith updates.
So where they said tech modernization and visual improvements, I'm excited to see that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
I don't know what they mean.
Right. Well, but does that mean we're like they're going to come out with this expansion and they said we're going to get more story updates, but are we saying like next December we're getting another expansion? You know, and I know they're not saying that, or is this just going to be like the build of the build of the build? You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. What I want to say is when we talked about what we thought was coming, basically we were right. We're getting, the visual upgrades. They're not giving us a new engine, but basically they're going to make the game look better and feel better. Yeah. I expected all of this at the expansion. I did not expect them to say that this was going to be a year-long content.
Slow trickle.
Yeah, slow trickle, right? And I'm just saying because, Nick, in like your business or your career or my career, there's always delays, right?
Right.
What I hope is that we don't get plagued with the delays with the game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Where this gets into like 2023 before they get to do all the stuff, because I really want all this content. And back when they did Knights of the Fallen Empire and Knights of the Eternal Throne, I loved it because every month to every month and a half, we were getting content. And it gave you it like drived you to play the game like, oh shit, there's a new chapter. Even if that chapter was an hour or 30 minutes, it was still that new content. And you kept, it felt like it was constantly new. You know what I mean? But I feel like with them pumping the money into the marketing and getting all these things, I'm really curious to see where it all goes, because they are definitely going all out on this. I've never seen a buzz about this game ever since I started playing it in 2015 again.
I know. It's crazy. I mean, like IGN's covering it.
Everybody is. I saw an article today on PC Gamer. So like there's people talking about this game and it's fantastic. The last thing I wanted to say is they did say at the end of their at the end of the live stream that the expect starting in August and on the content creators are going to be getting interviews and stuff. So it sounds to me like Working Class Nerds might be in line to get an interview.
That would be sweet.
Yeah,
I would love that.
Me too. And I'm curious to see who would we have on to break down whatever. So stay tuned for more of that.
If I had to like cherry pick, I'd love to see one of the developers come on just to like to talk about like world building or whatever their like niche specialty is. That would be really cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than, I mean, I'll take whatever I can get. I'm not going to look a gift Bioware employee in the mouth, but
well, yeah. So I would love to talk the new operation, obviously, right? But again, Matt Pusevich has been on the show before, so like if there's another content creator that wants to have Matt Pusevich on to talk about the new operation, that's cool with me. You know what I mean? Because like we've already had him on the show, and we want to spread the love. Right. But obviously we would love to do that because remember we got to break the new boss, the concept art for Red, but they called them Blue. You know what I mean? Because the name wasn't officially official. You know what I mean? But we got to talk about the new boss, and that was pretty cool. So I'm really looking forward to this next year. I definitely feel like there's a lot of new players, even coming into my stream, are talking about this game going, I'm new. I read an article today. And you're like, what? Oh, I'm new. I'm downloading the game right now. And I went to Twitch to see who was playing it. And I found your stream.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yes.
That happened to you yesterday or the day before, didn't it?
Yeah. Past couple. So clearly whatever they're doing is working. And it's so crazy how Twitch or YouTube or anything like that is a way that they have content creation. Like that's driving people to the game is content creation.
It's the future.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of Working Class Nerds.